So when you think of Umbreon, I'm sure to a lot of you, the first card that pops in your head is this. The Umbreon Vmax alternate art from Evolving Skies. What if I were to tell you that there are 5 Umbreon cards that you were probably overlooking that are extremely undervalued and have much lower pop reports? What's up everyone, and welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Cody from Zellig's Pokemart. If you enjoy content like this and find value out of this, make sure you show me by leaving a like. Videos like this take time to research, record, and edit, so I really do appreciate you taking a couple seconds to leave that like. It really does mean the world. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell as well, so you are notified every time I upload new content. This is your top 5 undervalued and overlooked Umbreon cards that, in my opinion, are better buys than the Umbreon Vmax from Evolving Skies. Now, we are comparing PSA 10 copies. To accurately compare these cards, we need to look at the Umbreon Vmax from Evolving Skies. In PSA 10 condition, this card sells for anywhere from around $840 to about $900 for a PSA 10 copy, which actually blows my mind. I understand that there is a chase to it and it's not the easiest card to pull. However, the PSA 10 pop report says otherwise. This card is highly graded. From the looks of it, this is one of those cards that as soon as someone pulls from a pack, it goes right to PSA. The pop report says it all. As of the time of this recording, there are just under 5,000 copies of this card in PSA 10. To be exact, 4,785 PSA 10 copies. Now, this is a very modern card. This card is not even 2 years old yet. That is quite a bit of PSA 10 copies of this card. I'm going to show you 5 cards that have lower pop reports that cost quite a bit less in PSA 10 condition, and make sure you stick around to the end of this video because I have a 6th bonus card that isn't exactly an Umbreon card but will probably be desired by most Umbreon fans. So thank you so much for sticking around. Let's get into this top 5 video, starting with highest pop to lowest pop. And the first on the list, I had to add this card. I absolutely had to. I'm a big fan of this card, and I think it is very, very overlooked and undervalued. And that is the Umbreon Gold Star from the Celebrations Classic Collection. Now, little fun fact about this card. The original copy of this card came from the Pop 5 series packs. This card was actually not a holo foil card. So the Celebrations is a holo foil version of this card. This just happens to be one of the most expensive Gold Star cards you can get. For most people, the original copy is completely out of reach, unless if you have thousands and thousands of dollars to just blow on Pokemon cards, which I know a lot of you do not. So this is a really great alternative. People still get to hold that card and enjoy the beauty of this card in their hands at a fraction of the price. Here's the crazy thing. This card is only selling for about $70 in a PSA 10 copy. 70. That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. The pop report is still less than the Umbreon Vmax from Evolving Skies. The pop report comes in at 3,291. This is a great buy in my opinion. At this point, I feel like this card's only gonna be going up. Now, before we get further on into the list, just keep in mind, these are all my opinions. I'm not telling you to go out and buy these cards. These are cards that I just recommend that you check out because some people might be overlooking. So, with that said, this is your collection. Collect what you want to collect. So that doesn't mean to go out and just buy everything just because I think it's a good buy. At the end of the day, it's your collection dollars. You spend them how you want to spend them. So on to the 4th card on this list, the Umbreon GX from Hidden Fates, the Shiny Volt Umbreon. This is actually a shiny version of Umbreon, just like the Umbreon Gold Star as well. And a lot of people do enjoy the color combination of that beautiful blue color on the black fur of Umbreon. It is an absolute beautiful card, and this card actually was one of the top chase cards out of Hidden Fates. And this is what blows my mind. We are seeing some of these cards at record lows in the last couple of years. Remember this card selling raw for $120 to $140 a copy. I've personally sold some myself. All these cards on the list, I have researched and either found them on the market currently for these prices or just recently sold for these prices. You could pick up a PSA 10 copy of this card for about $180, which blows my mind. This is a no-brainer in my opinion. This is something definitely you do not want to overlook. The pop report, like I said, only gets lower from here. There are about 3,055 copies of this card in a PSA 10, which is still pretty heavily graded in a 10. However, this is quite a bit less than the Evolving Skies Umbreon. Next on the list, if you are a big fan of Umbreon and you collect Umbreon cards, this is a no-brainer, and this is something I think everyone needs in their collection if you are a big fan of Umbreon, and that is essentially the Umbreon rookie card, but not the rookie card that everyone thinks of. I'm talking about the Neo 2 Japanese version of Umbreon. This is the true rookie card of Umbreon in a main set. Japan got these cards before English. Most people look at the English version from Neo Discovery as the rookie card of Umbreon, but realistically it is actually not. It is the Neo 2 version from Japan. This card you could actually pick up in a PSA 10 copy for about $520. That blows my mind. This is a vintage card in PSA 10. Getting PSA 10 vintage cards is not as easy as a PSA 10 modern card. What blows my mind even more is the pop report's only 532 for a PSA 10 of this card. It costs quite a bit less than the Umbreon from Evolving Skies, and we'll never obviously see a reprint, being that it is vintage. Has a much lower pop report, and I feel like this pop report will never catch up to that Umbreon. This, in my opinion, is an absolute no-brainer and is a must-have in any Umbreon fan's collection. This next card on the list might just blow your mind. The Umbreon and Darkrai GX promo from Sun and Moon. This was a promo in a collection box. This is crazy because this card in PSA 10 copy, it's selling for about $225. Now, if you know anything about these promos that came in these types of collection boxes, they were not the easiest cards to grade. This is actually an alternate art, full art version of the Umbreon and Darkrai GX. It's an absolutely beautiful card for $225. I think this is a really good buy. I personally will probably be picking one of these up for my own personal collection. I think it's amazing artwork. I actually think it's much nicer than alternate art from Evolving Skies. Let me know in the comments below what you think. The pop report for this card is 469. Really would not expect the pop report to ever get out of hand for this type of card. So, I personally think this is extremely overlooked and a great buy in my opinion. This is one card I definitely would not sleep on. Next on the list, this actually is coming from a set that was just not really that popular. The condition of the cards that came from this era were very difficult to grade, and that would be the Umbreon EX from Fates Collide. This is a full art card from an era where the full art cards were one of the highest rarities to pull, and this card in a PSA 10 copy goes for about $250. $250 for a card that is not easy to grade, but you can get a PSA 10 copy of it. Pop report on this card is actually 255. It's another one of those cards that I would not expect the PSA 10 population to explode. This is a very overlooked and underrated card. There are probably a lot of people that don't even know this card exists. Whether it's raw or graded, I would not sleep on this card. Those are 5 cards. Every single one of these cards costs quite a bit less than the Umbreon Vmax from Evolving Skies, and the population report is quite a bit less as well. You think that the Umbreon Vmax is just too overpriced for you, but you are an Umbreon fan? These are 5 really great alternative options for you that you could actually spend less money on and have a much lower pop report. In most cases, you could probably buy 2 or 3 of these cards on this list and still spend either the same or less money than if you were to buy a PSA 10 copy of that Umbreon Vmax from Evolving Sky. And I told you, if you stuck around to the end of the video, I'm going to give you a 6th bonus card that isn't quite an Umbreon, but might actually appeal to an Umbreon fan, and that is the Alakazam EX Secret Rare from Fates Collide. And why do I say this? This is actually a full art alternate art. Yes, XY era was doing alternate arts as well. It kind of dropped off the grid for the beginning half of Sun and Moon and picked back up towards the end of Sun and Moon, and then as we saw with Sword and Shield, it dropped off again and picked back up. Alternate arts were off and on for a little while now. This card's extremely overlooked and underrated, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that actually don't even know this card exists. I personally have this in my collection, and why would this appeal to an Umbreon fan? Well, hey, look at this beauty right here. It actually has a full art, alternate art artwork with Alakazam and Umbreon in it. It's an absolute banger. banger of a card. This is a beautiful card, and it's extremely difficult to grade in a PSA 10. PSA 10 copies go for about $400 for this card. Top reports about $282 for a PSA 10 copy. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this list. Do you agree with some of these cards that are on this list? Would you still rather spend that $800 to $900 on the Umbreon Vmax? I want to know in the comments below. And until next time, I appreciate the support. Let's make like Charizard and keep this passion burning.